if you bought it from me, which I am based in the UK, that means that you have to abide by my copyright law, not by yours.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that. Hello and welcome to Unstitched Pod with your hosts Hannah and
Vika.
Today we're going to talk about how to diversify yourself and your artwork and how we've done it and our experiences with that.
I have no notes. I have 0 notes.
Oh! What?
I know.
Well, because you have it all up in here.
True. I actually have strong opinions about some things that we're going to be talking about, so that's why...
Oh, I'm excited.
I didn't even bother to prepare nothing.
Do you have all of your things, though? The featured things? So we should do that before we start, because you should have an account to feature.
Shy.
Have you figured someone out?
My Instagram has been down. My Instagram has been down.
Yeah, I think Instagram's down. I think it's back up now.
It is back, but it's
Instagram,
like barely.
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook had like a major outage.
Did you?
I thought I got hacked for a hot second.
I thought I was like, that's it. They deleted my account. Like it looked so weird. It's like you have no posts, nothing.
And I was like, well, there goes the world. At least we got TikTok.
I know. Did you see Elon Musk was like tweeting, if you're reading this message, this means that our servers are up and running. Just like mocking like all the Facebook Meta owned, because everything's on the same server. So like one goes down, everybody goes down.
Yeah, everything goes down. Yeah. Today we are going to talk about all of the ins and outs about trying to diversify, aka not just making one type of way to make money. So not just by selling your art one way. Mm-hmm. Which, as embroidery artists, it's such a slow art form. It's just not as sustainable for us to like whip out handmade pieces and have that be something that's affordable, like as a means of living.
Absolutely. But also, I just thought this is so typical of us and so fucking random that we start talking about how to diversify your income as an embroidery artist when we didn't even talk about how to become an embroidery artist, like how to pay the bills firstly. Like,
I mean, I think it all goes in, aka it's really hard to do, especially if you're going for full-time. It's really hard to make full-time income on just selling artwork.
Yeah, no, that's like impossible unless you use like the old art system that's still currently used. Like work with the galleries, make rich people your best friends, all the stuff.
Yeah. But again, that's still kind of diversifying though. Like for selling, I feel like in general, if someone's just trying to sell to other people and it's like, and you're trying not to like have other, because that's like a means of diversifying is offering at galleries. I feel like
but isn't it
if
like
you were just going
the old ways.
Yeah. I mean, I think the old ways are like taking ads out in your local like media, so like newspapers, magazines.
Oh yeah.
And I guess putting ads in that way.
I have to say I don't know much about the art world, like the art business world, let's say.
And I do think it's a lot about connections and then just getting your artwork in front of the right people, like working, like selling in person. I feel like embroidery was sold more in person than it was in like art galleries.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, for the longest time, embroidery hasn't been considered worthy of being in an art gallery.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think it's a very modernized take. So, which I'm happy we're a part of that movement, and I'm happy it exists now, but we're new to the like traditional art world in that way.
Traditional, yeah, that's the word, not the old traditional. So let's have a rundown of what we can do. First of all, online, in person. Are there any other ways?
Online, in person, at like markets.
That's in person.
I'm trying to think if there is any other way besides online and markets.
Like
I think
auction.
That's it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
like
I mean, I guess. Phone marketing?
Yeah.
Hello there. My name is Hannah.
Would you like to buy my art?
And I would like to sell you this detailed embroidery piece. Like, I don't even know.
How do people even picture that? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyway, obviously, clearly a joke.
Or on the radio.
On the... no, but TV.
TV,
okay.
Okay.
It's like, you know, Good Morning America, or... I don't know why I said America. I've never lived in America.
Yeah, I guess.
It's Good Morning Britain.
Is that a thing? Good Morning Britain?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sure you
there
know...
is Good Morning America, but I didn't...
Yeah, no. I think everybody has a Good Morning insert your country
Something.
name. Anyway, yeah, definitely. I heard a story of somebody, like a fairly new embroidery artist business, got a chance to go on Good Morning America or something like that, and they were they
fun.
sold like 25,000 kits in one day. Yeah, crazy. I don't want to do that.
That gives me so much anxiety. You said that and I literally stopped breathing. I was like,
imagine you had to make 25,000 kits in like less than a week.
I would hope
Impossible.
that I would hope that you had it. You were prepping, because if you're gonna go on a show like that, I feel like that's like, you know what I mean?
Are you throwing
like I hope you have. I'm counting. That's me counting. Like, I hope you've spent enough time prepping. But then the second point I would make is I would hope that you have a team to help you make them.
Oh, for sure.
If you're that at that level where you're going on Good Morning America. And third, I would hope that you would have like a good lead time. Like, you're not going to get this for 2 weeks, because that
absolutely. I mean, we're not even talking about that. This is just. Ugh.
I feel the burnout happening just thinking about it.
Yeah, but then all the money, it's like
that's
gotta be worth it probably. Anyway, okay, so let's talk online space, how and where we can put our stuff out, but also like we should probably start with like different products, all these kind of things, rather than like going straight to like marketplaces and things like that. As an embroidery artist, you're fairly limited to like a few things that you can do. I mean, the world is yours, like, the sky's the limit really, but generally like what we see embroidery artists crank up is obviously digital products such as PDF patterns for people to make your art with their own supplies, which I think is one of the coolest things that we can do as embroidery artists. And Hannah, you are guilty of not having enough of those in your shop.
I'm just now slowly expanding. The
How
thing
are you
is
finding it,
that
actually? I'm curious.
I like it. I mean, it's nice. It is nice to have some sort of passive income where you don't have to actually do anything for it. Like, I understand the appeal of that. I struggle with it because I mostly focus on fabric collage, and you can't make, like, I'm working on it. I'm trying to work on like a template basically where someone could like lay the template down on the fabric and like cut around it and make like very specific
I feel like
landscapes.
that would be totally awesome. Easy.
Yeah. So I'm working on that part and trying to find a way where that feels good to me still, because I think part of the risk, right? Like, yes, the positives, it's passive. You don't really have to do much, right? Like, it's a lot of work up front, and then afterwards you just kind of get to reap the benefits.
Yeah. Long term.
You get to see other people do it online, which is kind of cool. Like, people will tag you and you get to see like their version of it. And I think
this
that's
also
really
acts
cool.
as advertisement, which is incredible. Like,
very true.
Not very many products can come up with
true.
the outcome in that sorts.
Yeah. I also think it's cool that in that way we can kind of compete with some of like the bigger names, like of, just like DMC offers a lot of downloadable patterns and stuff. And I feel like it's nice to be able to be a part of it, right? Like, people still see, it's like you make so many of them. People know that you make downloadable patterns. And so it's cool that you can compete with like big box stores or like big companies. Like, I feel like it makes it a little bit more of like an equal market.
Yeah.
I like that. But also the part that I've always been hesitant about, it's why I didn't start offering fabric collage kits until 2022. I just get really worried about people then just turning around and selling whatever they make based off of patterns.
Oh yeah, we should
and
talk
claiming
about
it as their own
copyright.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have to do a whole episode on copyright. Although I think I would make a lot of people angry.
Like just like 2 tiny cents to put in right now with regards to that.
Yeah.
The people don't realize, but copyright. What do I say? Copyright. Stop it! I put you in coma. Goodness me. Start talking like a child. Copyright. So people don't realize that copyright laws really depend on countries and different like unions that the countries collectively make and come up rules for those unions. So for example, copyright laws in the US, to really like reap the benefits of the law, you have to register every single thing as copyright. And forgive me if I'm wrong, I think that costs money, like probably not a ton, but a little bit, just, you know, to fill out an application. Plus that's a lot of work. Like, you know, if you're making 3, 4, 5 patterns a month, which some artists do, goodness me. But saying that, UK as an example, it basically has an easier way of reinforcing copyright. And
that's nice.
Your like the copyright law in the UK applies worldwide. So say you're in America and you're buying my pattern, you're like, well, copyright laws here allow me to sell it without your consent, you know, the finished project, not the actual like reproduction of the pattern. But if you bought it from me, which I am based in the UK, that means that you have to abide by my copyright law, not by yours.
Oh, yeah.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I dove deep at some
we have
point.
to do a
we do it. There's a lot of insight that we should share, like, and just spread the word.
There's also a lot of people who have their entire business based on things that they could get in big trouble for.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that too at some point.
So we'll have to do a whole episode on it. I think it's
we'll touch on that later when we talk about some marketplaces.
But anyway, returning back to
sorry. 2 cents
passive income in the way of like PDF downloads. I've just always been super hesitant of that. And also because I feel like when we, you know, both of us are not into gatekeeping. Both of us are all about sharing knowledge and about making information accessible to all people, not for a fee, right?
Yeah.
Like we both make informational videos all the time.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there are some parts of my artistic like process that I want to like keep to myself, you know, because I've worked really hard to kind of curate those skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anytime I make something that's a kit, more specifically, but in the download even, like people still get to learn like the little things that make your art you. And I worry sometimes that people will take that and like claim it as their own, and then, you know,
well,
and it's silly,
to be honest, like,
because
it's a little bit silly.
That's kind of what we want, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like I recognize that it's like a silly thing for me to be so protective when I'm also sharing it.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you can, you know, like you're entitled
choose
to
what you
your
want to share.
Yeah, but you're also entitled to your opinion and your feelings about whatever actions that you take or not take. So I have nothing against.
I think it's just from being burned so badly before. Like in my first few years, I had a couple people like really take advantage of me in like DMs. Like I learned my lesson basically. You know, like people would ask me questions and I would just answer, and I would share stuff that like I'm maybe not as comfortable sharing about my artistic process and stuff, but I would do it because I was like, oh, this person like genuinely wants to get to know me, and they would turn around and like completely copy what I was doing.
Right.
And you know, then I got accused of being gatekeepy and stuff, and not being kind, and it burned me so bad that I was like, that's it. I'm not offering kits. I'm not going to do downloadable stuff. So I think part of that is just like battling with like how much I'm okay with it now, but it's still, I don't know, it still makes me nervous a little bit. I'd be lying if I said it didn't.
It's an experience that you go through, you know, like you learn from it. Like, you know, we witness that all the time in the online space, like stuff getting stolen, even by like, you know, massive companies, like primarily in China. You know, how are you supposed to fight them? Like,
I know.
Who do you turn to? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have a design patented, which is a lot of money, like I think to patent something only within the UK use is like 1,500 quid.
It's expensive.
But also if you want to do it online, like that's like 10K. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to do that shit. But how are you supposed to fight them? Like they just make money off of your art all the time. It pisses me off. Like I'm waiting, one day it's gonna happen to me, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
Yeah. And I think that's also part of the reason why like I have been hesitant to do embroidery only things. You know, like I have one downloadable kit that's embroidery only. I mean, I plan on making maybe a few more, but I don't plan on doing that, even though I know it's a great means of passive income. It's a lot harder to copy my fabric
For
collages
sure.
because a lot of it is like retired out of print fabric. Like you would easily be able to tell that it's a knockoff if like
Yeah.
Shein or what's that other one? Temu like stole my stuff. Because you do see that. We are seeing that so much in the art world where they are just stealing people's designs and claiming them as their own. I mean, Kate even had that happen to her of Modern Hoopla.
Yeah.
So I mean,
stealing photos is a big one. Oh, somebody emailed me literally the other day. This is so annoying. She sent me a link to a Pinterest post, just like a pin, which was one of my photos. It was the hoodie design that I did, like embroidery in the center. And it was some random person, and there's a link attached to the pin, which takes you to their Etsy, which they sell, I don't even know, like cross stitch patterns, something like that. Like they're just using your photos as means of advertisement,
to
like to catch people's eyes
Oh.
and send it to the shop where like people can't even find anything close to what they've clicked the photo off of, you know? So annoying. Like I had to fill out this form and like tell Etsy, not Etsy, Pinterest, that this is my thing. Here's where you can find it on my website. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happens all the time.
Photo theft is huge. Yeah. The amount of times I get someone that's like, oh, this person's using your listing pictures.
Yeah.
Great.
So annoying.
Normally it is like another human, unfortunately, and who thinks like, oh, I'm so small, no one's going to notice that I do this. And then when you, like, I just directly message those people. They always take it down because I'm like, hi, I see you. But yeah, so all of that to say, that makes me hesitant to take that step in that direction.
I get it.
But I do think it's wonderful. It's just, I think the anxiety that I get from it, I just have recognized like maybe that's just not for me.
Absolutely. And like with your particular medium and style, I can't imagine it being like a priority for you. It's just like, it would be nice because it's fairly passive income. So
right. And so the second form that I would say would be based on kits, right? So not just downloadable, but you pay and then we physically send you items that also may have online downloadable parts.
Downloadable parts.
Which we both do, right?
No downloadable parts in our kits. Our kits are high end.
Downloadable parts.
Yeah.
And I think that has been like the healthy balance for me. But again, I do not offer very many because it takes me, I mean, it takes quite a bit of time to put together kits. I think that's why both of us normally do drops so we can like kind of prepare the time, like set the time aside, pay for the supplies up front.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just not very doable.
Yeah. But kits is a great way to, that's my biggest money maker. Like, I'm not going to lie. Straight up say 3 times a year that I do it. That's what pays my bills. And in between, like, whatever little sales that I have, like, they just help. But
trickle in. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still primarily make a living on my original artwork. So... And I know that is not something that everybody can say that they do. I know that is, like I've worked really hard to make that happen. Yeah, and kits for me, I do them with you once a year. That's just a thing now.
It's just, we've done it twice. There's plans for number 3. I think that's just going to have to happen every year.
It's just once a year. This is just our lives now. You're stuck with me.
Business trip once a year.
Yeah, business trips once a year. And then I usually will drop maybe 1 or 2 kits a year after that. That's new and original. But because mine is not something that I can like replenish every single time. A lot of my kits, it's like once the fabric's gone,
it's gone.
I can't make them again.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Totally.
So it's a little different for me. But I love that it is something that provides you with so much financial stability. It's so cool that you can, because I don't think people realize just how much time it takes to compile kits.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Like if we're giving, people an idea of like,
we could do a whole episode on that.
We should. Yeah. But also like, let's dive a little bit deeper here. So like if you're thinking to put together some kits, because kits are just, I love, like, it's incredible. The the expertise that we can put into one little package is just like, it's priceless to a point. You know what I mean? They're just years of experience, countless amounts of different supplies that's been tested, you know, that like lots of money has been wasted on the bad stuff, like handpicked the good stuff, you know, everything that you need in one place, in one little box. And I love that. I love that makes this art form very, very accessible to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, to say, so I got, which is something that I really wanted, for Christmas, my brother and his girlfriend got me a screen printing kit, which, yeah, have I touched it? No, I haven't. The reason why I haven't is because it doesn't have all the stuff that I need.
Right.
And like, I need to figure that out. But would I have absolutely screen printed the shit out of something on the Christmas day if that kid had everything in? Fuck yeah. But, you know, that's the experience that you get. Like, yeah, they give you some bits, but not everything. But also, like, that is also the beauty of the kits. Like, if you're thinking about making kits, they don't have to be a specific type of kit. They don't have to have all the things, you know. You get to decide what you want to put in there, you know, just based off of either like what people tell you or people ask for, or what you think will be the best thing. Because what I started with making kits, not the same as what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Although I'm proud to say Nerd hoops have always been inside my kits.
Same.
Pretty proud of that.
I learned a lot from watching other people. Like, I'm very new to kits. I didn't offer kits until 2022
big year.
because I was so hesitant. And there were friends like you who were like, listen, you got to jump on this. And I was like,
it's very rewarding. Like,
it's very rewarding. But I learned from watching what other people put in their kits.
Well, same. Yeah.
I learned from, you know, like that versus I feel like you were jumping into all of that pretty early in terms of like embroidery kits. I feel like, like you, I mean, to a scale that you have, the scale that you have, like of the type of stuff, like I think you put a lot more into your embroidery kits.
Yeah, true. I've changed, that's a problem with, well, wouldn't necessarily say it's a problem, but it's a problem. Like,
you're a maximalist when it comes to providing stuff.
Not maximalist, but the good stuff, fucking you're getting all the good stuff. You know what I mean? You can't just have three good things. You're getting all the good things. But yeah, I mean, I jumped into it like fairly quickly. I made 22 kits, 2 designs, 11 kits each. And I told people that, you know, they were going to be available like on this day and stuff. And then I put them on and they like sold within like 15 minutes. And I was like,
yeah,
what do I do? Like like just emails. Couldn't get one. Do you have more? So I was like, you know what? Like, I will firstly hate to disappoint you. And secondly, I will absolutely hate to miss out on the opportunity
the sales,
because like, you know, I've made 22. I can make 22 more. You know what I mean? So I just allowed, you know, opened it for pre-order for like the next week or something, and ended up being, I think, close to 100 kits or something like that. I don't know, but it was like a ton more than I thought I would sell. Like, I would sell.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, lots has changed since. Lots. Like, my kits don't look the same now.
No. And I think also, like, we're kind of getting a handle on things. Like, the first time I offered kits, it was the same. I was like, I remember
you winding bobbins by hand.
I was winding bobbins by hand. And I give the whole,
your husband.
I give the whole thing now. I'm not about that life anymore. And I prepared 100 kits thinking like, this is going to be, this will last me a whole year.
Jokes.
And yeah, I think they sold within like the first 15 minutes. And I was like, okay. And I think now they're just always on my website. Like, I've gotten to a point where I think I've sold enough. I just always have them on hand.
I don't know how you do that.
My closet, literally the entire top of my closet is just kits.
But
so
also,
I just have,
like,
and I
how
always,
much money is in your closet is the question that I have.
Well, so here's the difference between you and I in terms of like, a lot of the stuff, because my kits are made with fabric that's like very specific. I have I buy the stuff up front, and I buy it in pretty large amounts. So I'm just always, if I can make them, if I have the supplies to make them, I'll just go ahead and make them.
Okay.
You know, and if it's a new kit though, I do have like a limited quantity and stuff. But, and there's, I think I have 3 kits that I offer year round now that are just like, I basically bought every store out of those things. And when I run out, I will not be able to make them anymore, kind of thing. And so it was my choice to make that upfront cost ahead.
Yeah.
And that just, it's kind of like a trickle sale, you know, like I sell a good amount of them every month. I don't advertise for them at all. It feels to me a lot more like passive income. Yes, it takes me, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to compile them in a package for someone, because I don't always have them boxed up, ready to go. But I have all of the supplies readily available, and I know how many items I have to put in each one, and I sit there and count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that one's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I can't do that too much.
Yeah, because I've recognized that when I do pre-orders with like huge amounts, sometimes like how you do it, the burnout that happens, I don't bounce back from. And so I've realized I just can't go that hard.
But you see, like, I feel like if I were to try, pretty much impossible, but if I were to try and have kits on hand, like, it would just take me, like, you know, I don't know, like an hour every day just on kits, like doing little jobs for it and things like I can't do that.
Right. I think we both operate just differently in that way, you know, like you are like, let's go, let's get this done. You like get heavy into like, this is what I'm in kit making mode right now. My pre-orders happened. That gives me just like crippling anxiety, and I like can't do anything.
Your
like,
idea of having kits all the time gives me so much anxiety. I need my CBD gummy like right now. Just thinking about it.
Isn't that so funny? So I think we're just 2 different kind of people. Probably. You know, like it can happen. It works both ways. And who knows, like which way is, you know,
your way.
I think.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so besides kits, other forms are to take digital photos, like high quality photos of the things that you make, and turn them into products. So like frame those pieces so you can sell prints.
Yeah, there's
art prints.
There's companies that will scan, like high quality, insane quality scan. I've never done that because I don't think that I'll be able to sell prints, because I tried and nobody wants them. But yeah, there's like professional ways that you can go about scanning 3D onto 2D, like insane quality. You could do that.
Maybe I should try that with that guy.
You should do that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, you should do that.
Just with the center hoop of that. And then stickers, you know, like we both do that.
If you're based in the UK, don't do stickers. People in the UK don't understand stickers.
People in the US, we love a good sticker. I sell stickers so much. Stickers are all those spins, all stickers.
Yeah, I don't know how. Nobody wants my stickers. But I'm like still shoving it down everybody's throat. I won't stop. Like completely, like not even gonna lie, I love stickers.
So I think that that's kind of a cool way to diversify a little bit in terms of products, because especially like my art is expensive, you know, like my bigger pieces, I have higher price tags on them. And I recognize that makes it not affordable for everyone. Also not meant to be affordable for everyone. If it takes me a couple days of crazy active stitching, I'm not going to charge $20.
You know, a friend of mine once said, art is for the rich.
Yeah.
And I believe that.
Yeah. I mean, or people like save up for it, you know? Like, I don't necessarily think that my buyers are like, I would not
some of them, I bet
categorize them as rich.
But then depends what you think rich is. You know what I mean?
I think the majority of the people that buy my art save up for it because they tell me that they do.
Yeah. That's so sweet.
You know, and I offer payment plans to make it more accessible for those people.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
But I recognize, like, I would not be able to afford most of my art. I'll put that out there, you know, like we're not over here making buku bucks necessarily, you know, like I'm making a comfortable living wage to support my family of 5.
What's the most expensive piece of art you've bought?
The most expensive piece of artwork that I have purchased was $300.
Okay. What was it?
It's an art quilt, which I still think was crazy.
Underpriced.
Crazy
quilt
underpriced.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not even mine. I gifted it to a family member. I will absolutely buy art quilts because that's blows my mind.
Yeah, it blows my mind too.
And then in terms of like embroidery art and like wall hangings and stuff, probably like a couple hundred.
Yeah,
a
mine
piece,
is.
you know?
I'm looking at it now. It's a print. I paid like $350 for a print.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a Peter McKinnon photograph. It's a photo art. I love it.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Photography
Do
is
you know
also.
Peter McKinnon at all?
Mm-hmm.
The landscape photographer from Canada. Guess what the photograph is off of? Off. Fucking hell. Photograph off. How do you say that? Guess what this photograph is. I just broke English. Guess what?
Of. Guess what this photograph is of?
This is alright.
It is.
Guess what this photograph
based on? Is based on? Is
No, that's like an interpretation. It's a like.
I don't know. I can't guess.
Anyway, it's a.
What?
It's a moraine lake. Moraine lake. I have an embroidery of it, not off of it. Goodness me, English today. But the beauty of this, and I'll probably put a picture or something on the screen. The beauty of this, like the reason why I bought it, I love it so much, is because the mountains are completely covered with the clouds, so you can't tell there's mountains there, but they're fucking there. And I love it. I love it so much. Cool. It's like my favorite piece of art. Anyway, prints. But yeah, so if you go on either of our websites, maybe check out both. And just go through the shop section and check out like what kind of products that we have. We'll give you an idea. Do that with like lots of different artists if you're thinking about, oh, what kind of products can I make? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Some are like super, super cool and have like really, really high profit margins if you're smart about it. Like stick and stitch packs, which are incredibly popular. Pretty much everybody does them these days. If you have the right tools for it to get them printed, you know, and done and packaged nicely, profit margins are insane, which is good. That's like one of the favorite things. They used to be like in 2023. They used to be so popular in my shop. They've kind of died down now. Don't know why. Probably because I'm offering a lot more other things. But
maybe.
Yeah.
I also think Stitch and Stitch.
New thing. Hannah just came up on
Stitch
on the spot.
Patches. I feel like that was a super trendy thing. Like I feel like it like kind of took off. And I think, and not that it's necessarily not trending anymore, but you know, I think it's just died down a little bit. Like it's still very popular, but I don't think it's having its like moment anymore.
Yeah, potentially. You're right.
And other than that, the other thing, and we both do this, if you are someone who makes one form of art and you feel comfortable doing some sort of digital art version of that, do it, because then that opens up a whole nother world of products for you, which both of us do, where you can take your artwork and turn it into like a needle minder, where we, you know, you like turn that into like a digital art form, and then you make something out of that, which is kind of cool. You know, like stuff that puts your artwork in a different form.
You know what's funny? I'm just now thinking about it. You just rocked my world with that statement. Because like all of my art starts digital, like it's all in Procreate, and then I turn it into embroidery, make it known.
Oh yeah,
and then I go
you
back.
Do it differently than I do.
So it's like a whole life circle, you know. And then
look at that!
Wow,
it's the circle of life.
Hannah's gone. Let's give her a moment.
Anyway. Everybody else breaks out in song every once in a while, right? That's how I live my whole life.
That's your thing.
Yeah. See, and I don't. I start with my art very much not digital. And then I go in and I go and take a nice high quality picture of it.
This makes total sense.
Then it's like coloring for me. Then I get to sit there and like doodle. I fill in stuff. I like play with things. I
love that.
And then boom, I have a new sticker or a greeting card or a thank you card or packaging stickers. So yeah. I use digital art in that way differently than other people. And then I also have kind of explored. I'll like use an idea that I have. So I have several products that are digital where it's like affirmations. So like I make a landscape and then I like write words over it. And that's completely different than the artwork that I normally do, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, once you turn your art digital or once you start digital, there's like literally sky is not even your limit. Like you could go all the way to the moon. So much that you can do. That's like basically you being a digital artist rather than anything else, and you just turn your art into embroidery just for funsies. You know what I mean? Like you could go as to like, you know, sell t-shirts with your designs, you know, like merchandise. You can go that way.
Yeah.
That way is very long way, very, very wide path of things that you
We
can
have
do.
talked about doing a t-shirt. Do you remember that? We were like, well, we're going to do it.
We were going to do a t-shirt.
Maybe we should.
We should.
I mean, we've done 2 collabs already. We're going to do another one. We might as well make a t-shirt. Who would buy a t-shirt? If we
I don't know.
We should do a t-shirt. That'd be fun. Anyway.
Maybe we can do it like, you know, I don't know, like for charity or something. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah, raising funds for something.
Yeah, if we just do like a limited run, because it's not easy. Like, if
we wouldn't
doing, like,
we wouldn't want to have that.
It's gonna be shite quality.
No.
It's gonna last you 2 days.
We'd have to
and then
do
that's it.
like a pre-order. Like we'd have to share the design, do a pre-order, and then have just fulfill those pre-orders.
Yeah, I feel like that could be like a side project, not necessarily during the kids drop.
No,
that we'll
but
be
something
doing,
fun. Yeah,
because we
let's
don't want to
explore
take
that.
attention away from that. But yeah, I feel like
maybe we could
cool.
donate to something in regards to like mental health or like anxiety, since
For sure.
both of us had talked about. You know, I'm sure we could we'll find something.
Yeah,
totally off topic.
We will absolutely.
Other ways of diversifying, other than that, NFTs.
Put your NFT in the bin where it belongs.
Which,
don't even
friends,
think about
if have you had a successful experience with NFTs? Tell us in the comments, because
I highly doubt it.
I highly doubt it.
Celebrity friends, then go ahead.
It feels hella scammy. The amount of messages I get, I would love to buy this as an NFT.
They've died down now a little bit, which is nice.
They have.
But,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, digital art. I mean, you can do so much. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to. Yeah, I'm allowed to talk about. Like, somebody purchased my digital art license for a book cover last year, which was amazing. I mean, you can do so much with digital art, to be honest. So many things. Like anything with graphics that you can see, you can do. And even like on small scale, like these days, you know, back in the day, you'd have to like do a print run of like 1,000 to start with. You don't have to do that anymore. Like you can do print on demand, literally thousands of things. You can do like very small runs. You can go and chat to your local printers and see what they say. You know, will they print like 10 for you or something like that?
Yeah.
Water bottles, you know, like literally anything. But obviously for that, you have to have like some kind of audience to sell it to, because if you don't have your people, then who's going to buy it? Because the markets are saturated to the extent that it's very hard to stand out, especially if you're just starting out.
There is also, though, which we're going to talk about selling platforms, but like Redbubble is a platform that's designed for that. So that might be, if that's something you're wanting to do, where you want to take your art and just make it into a shit ton of products.
Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Okay.
Because that I don't know. I've never thought about wanting to do that, but I do know people that sell on there and do sell their art in those forms on that site. So I haven't explored.
I have, and I've made a decision not to go ahead. Yeah.
Why did you make that decision?
Because do
they take a huge cut?
Oh yeah, of course they do.
Yeah, I figured they would.
The cut is massive because you're not doing any work. You're just uploading your art to their website, and then they do whatever the fuck they want with it. But it's not very good quality. Like the stuff that they do is all the same print on demand. It's not very great. People have been reporting that they no longer want to shop on those kind of sites where they know it's
because of the low quality.
No, because they want to support artists directly. And it's kind of like this whole switch, like a twist in the industry where the artists are like, well, you print on demand companies in these marketplaces are taking all the money. You're paying me pennies. This is like classic musician versus Spotify case. Instead of that, artists are kind of building efforts to build their audience and sell directly and source and produce products themselves, because they can QC them and they can choose what they want rather than settle for what's available on those marketplaces. And then people are like, oh yeah, I'll just go and buy it directly from the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a switch is
sense.
happening, which is really cool.
That is cool. I like that.
I was considering it because, like, you know, my art is very simple. I have like all the digital files. I even taught myself like vector files, vector art.
Yeah.
Not for that purpose, but for other things. Yeah, I can't remember, to be honest, like fully why I decided not to.
That's good to know. I mean, that's not one of the selling platforms that like I had gone in today talking about, either of those, Society6 or Redbubble. So that's good to know about. Other than that, the other ways of diversifying your income when it's not just that would be the knowledge that you have behind it. So marketing yourself, selling yourself, and not just physical products, which is the other part we want to talk about today.
Do you mean?
So
yeah, what do you mean?
Going into having a fee attached to the knowledge that you have when you share it, and having a place for that to happen. So that would be in reference to something like Patreon or YouTube subscriptions, where you pay the paid subscriptions on YouTube, or Meta now has on Instagram, the Instagram subscribers. And this is a way for you to be able
to convince me of that.
Yeah.
I'm still debating whether I should do it.
There's a lot of pros and cons to going those routes. If you are going somewhere like Patreon, which is a pretty huge platform. Most people know about what Patreon is. I have supported people on Patreon before, and I've sold on Patreon before. It can be a really wonderful tool, but it is a separate entity from other social media platforms, versus like YouTube is embedded in YouTube's account, whatever account you have on YouTube. And then same with the Instagram paid subscribers, that's embedded in. So you don't have to like go to a different site in order to access and upload. So it's just a lot more like back end work for you if you go with Patreon.
I would probably say don't go with Patreon, because we will talk about, like, you know, building a community on this podcast a lot. This episode is kind of turning into like, we're assuming that you have some sort of following, things like that.
Yeah.
If you do, and if you're thinking about like Patreon, and if you don't have Instagram subscriptions enabled in your country yet, or YouTube subscriptions, if that's what you do, then don't do Patreon. Go straight to Discord. Discord has like it's a new thing.
Oh, do they have a paid platform too?
Yeah, you can do the same thing as Patreon.
I haven't explored,
but
clearly.
Yeah, but I think that the biggest fault that Patreon is doing, is that it doesn't have a chat box. Like they've not built anything to bring that community
to like
together.
Engage. Yeah.
It's kind of like a very old, like, think back to like 2010, what Facebook people's walls looked like. That's what Patreon page looks like. You as a person who's running can post a couple of things, you know, it can post a video, it can post a picture, or just like a little poll or something. And that's about it. That's all about you can do. And people can comment, but that's the only way to engage. There's no way to like get people together in the chat group, or, you know, like make announcements, you know, things like that. There's no way. There's not an easy way. And it's been the thing that people who have Patreon accounts, they will just send people to Discord and be like, I have this Discord group, you know, it's private. If you sign up for Patreon, I'll give you access, and you know, community can come together and we chat there. You can do video calls on there. You can do audio calls on there.
Yeah.
Like, you can create so many different chat rooms based on themes and stuff. So Discord was like, if people are coming here to talk, but they're paying Patreon the fees, then why don't we do the same thing in one place? Just like, you know, on Instagram and stuff. Long time coming, but finally it happened last year. So I'm happy to hear that, even though I don't use it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we both have had Patreon, like from a seller point of view, from an artist point of view. And we both are not on it anymore. There's no organization to from the seller point of view.
Straight up.
And supposedly they're fixing a lot of things, and maybe they have since we've not been on there, but it's just very old technology.
Oh yeah, it's awful because, you know, literally 90% of their income comes from like 15 people who have Patreon. They just have like thousands and thousands of Patreon subscribers.
Yeah.
So they don't give a fuck about building, stuff. Now they do, because Instagram has subscriptions. TikTok's going to have subscriptions soon.
Yeah.
YouTube, Discord, like Patreon has always been just a transaction point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, why am
And it was like the first one. So I think that's
Exactly.
another part of it. Like it's the grandfather of this kind of service.
But they've not kept up. They're trying to savage it now, but
they are.
That.
Because
They're
so many of us have been leaving.
Yeah, they're not.
So from my standpoint, example. So on Patreon, you can have different tiers of levels of memberships, right? So there's like a basic one that maybe you get to pick how much too. So like, let's say I pick my first one for like $3, and then my next tier is like $10. And then you get to pick what benefits people have access to that you provide to them for that additional fee. So like my base one was like, I don't know, $4 or something. And it was like, just support me as an artist. You get behind the scenes photos. You get, like, thanks for supporting me. And then my next tier was like, you get an early access to all of my drops for my artwork. And then the next tier was like, and I'll send you stickers once a month or something. And that in theory sounded great to me, but there's no way of keeping track of addresses for people, like of being able to know what, like you have to make your own spreadsheet to keep track of all of that.
There's not even an app. You have to go on desktop all the time.
Oh my God. And they have an app, and it's shit. It's absolute crap.
That's equals to they don't have an app.
They don't have an app. Yeah. And then it just got to a point where I felt bad as like a creator, because I felt like I wasn't holding up my end of the deal. And when I announced, I don't even remember how long I had it, but when I announced I was going to close it, they were all like, it's okay. You're fine. We'll still pay. Like the people who were there though, were there because they truly wanted to engage with me. And that was not happening on that platform. So I was like, I don't get to have conversations. It was the same thing. I don't get to have conversations. I don't get to, like, I want to build community. I want to spend time engaging with people that really are invested in my artwork and my knowledge. And I said good riddance, and oh my gosh, best decision I ever made. I did not like it.
I didn't like it either.
Upsides for Patreon. So there are some benefits. You don't have to have any follower base of any kind to be able to have that. If you want to offer that service, that's great. You can do it. Versus on Instagram and on YouTube, you have to have a certain amount of followers in order to access that that portion. Yeah. So I believe for being able to have subscriptions, I think you have to have 10,000 followers on Instagram. And on YouTube, you have to have, I can't remember how many.
I think you have to be like eligible to.
Yeah, like you have to meet the requirements. Yeah, exactly. And I think that part is kind of hard, right? Like but at the same time, if you do meet that criteria, I haven't gone the YouTube route, but Instagram, I have enjoyed, thoroughly have enjoyed having a subscription on there. The downsides, it's one fee. You get to pick what price it is between 99 cents and $99.99. That's like the range you get to pick. You pick your price and then that's it. I think mine is $4.99. And I just offer some exclusive content every once in a while. I post in my stories a lot more. I give them sneak previews of things that I'm working on more than other people. And I try and post, every once in a while, but it's really not a lot. And then I offer those people an hour early shopping to all of my drops. So they get a code that they have access to. And if I'm like testing a new product, like that PDF, that downloadable PDF, I was like, hey, can you guys be my testers? Like, and then you have it. Like, here's your benefit, Yeah. And right now, doesn't cost anything.
Instagram doesn't take a fee.
They don't take a fee right now. I know eventually the plan is for them to be able to do it. Yeah. And so for me, it's just like, okay, that's nice money. And if you are someone who has an account where you are worried about people stealing or impersonating you. We talked about this a lot when it first happened, but Meta changed it so that you could have a verification, right? So you could have the little blue check mark next to your name, which I had applied to get that little check mark by myself because I was like, oh, look, I've like hit a certain point. I feel like I didn't meet one requirement. And so I was like, oh, that kind of stinks. But I did have someone steal my account and pretend to be me. Like they didn't have access to my information or anything. They never hacked my account, but they made a copy of it. They stole all of my posts and were pretending to be me, and then were asking people for money. which happens, right? It's like a common scam. And so I decided, okay, I think I do want that blue check mark. I'm going to pay, which is kind of shit, but I'm going to pay for that little check mark. And then that also provides me with a little bit more of a cushion so that no one tries to do that to me again, because it sucked. It really messed with me. And I had a small following when it happened. I think I was at like, I don't know, 10, 15,000 followers, like smaller.
Yeah, like whenever you do a giveaway, there's always going to be
there's always a risk
that pops up with your picture
yeah,
in there.
right. So for me, I was like, I want to pay, I want to have this. And I think it's like $14.99 a month, which is like, it is a hefty cost. However, for me, I offset that cost with the paid subscribers. That's why I pay for it. That in my mind, those people that are supporting me help that little check mark next to my name so that I can make sure that I'm secure.
Yeah, I debated the check mark for a while, but then I gave in.
Yeah, we live in a capitalist society, like they're going to make money off of us as many ways as they can. But I think for both of us, it's just a lot. It is kind of peace of mind.
Yeah, I did a poll. I talked to a few people who did pay for the check mark, and I was like, well, why? And literally all of them were like, well, like my business is directly attached to this account. If anything happens, there's gonna be like difficult costs attached to that. And I was like, fuck, you're right.
Yeah.
For sure, like everything's attached. Like I live on Instagram.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Like when the outage happened this morning, I was like, oh my, there goes the business.
Exactly. I looked and I was like, my story 7 hours ago has 300 views on there. I was like, what the fuck? Usually it's like 3,000 by now.
I know, right?
And then literally like the app is like, can't load nothing. Yeah. Can't see like
the internet is
how many
it's
people
like,
I
my
follow.
Internet's fine. I know. Yeah.
I know.
They had a bad outage. I highly recommend if you have that option available to you to monetize on Instagram, I say do it. I'm disappointed in Meta because at one point in time, this beautiful moment of, what was it, 2021, when they decided to start monetizing Reels. They were paying people to make Reels. And I made significant money that way. So that's another way also like of monetization. Like you can monetize on TikTok, you can monetize on YouTube, you can monetize on Instagram, where you get paid for views on certain types of videos, right?
Why did Instagram stop paying you guys for the views?
So when the lawsuit with TikTok was happening, where they were like going to cancel TikTok, right? Like they were going to get it all shut down.
Oh, right. Oh, shit, yeah.
Meta got hella cocky and they were like, we don't need, because the only reason why they offered that monetization feature was because they wanted to be competitive with TikTok. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're like, ooh, and they were so confident that TikTok was going to get shut down that they were like,
bring it back though?
Well, they have slowly, but it is not the same. I think they took it all away. They're like, we're no longer going to be offering this. The thing is, all the creators that are on that app have been programmed to make Reels, right? Like it still prefers Reels. Like they're slowly trying to make still photos a thing again, but like people go on there to watch them. And so then they just weren't paying people. So like I had a pretty viral video happen and I made thousands of dollars on that one video. Now, if I have a viral video happen, I'll get like $60. It's still something, but it is no longer a place where I can depend on having I used to be able to depend on having at least like 1,000 a month that would come in from that platform.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Like just a nice stable.
Like a very small part of me still hates you for that.
Yeah,
because you're
because you never
just
could.
because you're in the U.S.
I know
you get all the good fucking shit. Pisses me off. Well,
I'm sorry.
Anyway. It's okay. It's not your
So
fault.
that's also a different way to diversify though, like to monetize things that if you're already making that content and the platforms that you're on are already making money off of you, you might as well get a small cut of it if you can.
Back in the day when TikTok just had its first creator fund thing. Can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
So TikTok had started it basically, paying people for content. And then, everybody copied. It's all like measured in RPMs, which is like how many views it has, how long has like what counts as a view basically. How many seconds or how many minutes of your video the person is watching and all this stuff. To give you a perspective, we're talking about it as if like it's going to make you a ton of money when at some point if you were based in the US, Instagram could, but it's no longer the case. Same with TikTok. Like, I think I had a video that was like reached like 19 million views or something in a couple of months. It made me like 300 pounds. You know, maybe.
Yeah,
like,
TikTok's never
maybe.
really, yeah.
But saying that, I posted a video last week, and it's a 4.5 minute video, which is what they're prioritizing now. Really long videos, engaging.
Really long videos.
And it's currently sitting at like 22,000 views, which is like, my views have not even been
nice.
that good.
No, yeah, lately I think we've all been feeling that. Yeah.
Yeah, for a long time. Like, if something goes like over 10K, like, I'm happy at this point. You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah.
Where like back in the days, like, if it doesn't hit 200K views, then that's not a good enough
then
video.
It's crap. Yes.
But
oh my
they're
gosh,
doing things differently now, so it's understandable. But they've changed their like creator fund program. They're calling it like I can't remember what it's called. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I can't remember what it's. Yeah.
Program beta.
I'm enrolled in it.
Yeah, and basically you could either, like, when they made the change, you could either stay using like the original program, or you could sign up for this one. But if you do sign up, you automatically lose like access to the previous one. Yeah. But this new one, you have to, like, you can only monetize videos over 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Which I debated for a long time if I should switch or not. And for some stupid reason, I decided I'm going to switch. And I don't fucking know why, because that was not a good decision.
I switched too, and I don't ever make over...
I know, right? Like, videos. What was I thinking? That I'm going to make like longer than 60 seconds? You stupid.
I know.
Stupid. Anyway, but these 22,000 have made me like already 60 quid. So
I mean, that's something. Yeah. It's in comparison to what you used to make. Yeah. So that's worth looking into. I can't remember how many followers. I think you have to have like 10,000 followers, and you have to have like so many views in like a
probably
30-day period or something, but it's worth checking out.
Yeah, worth checking out.
If you want to make long form.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gone on so many tantrums about all these things. We should actually go back to our topic.
I told you that this was going to be an episode that would it would be a multi-episode.
I was like, yeah, I'm do serious. All these 3 things in one
You're like, no, it'll be fine. And remember my response? My response was, ha, 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 ha. You're so funny. Okay.
I can't tell right now. How long have we been recording for? My laptop's too far away.
An hour and 9 minutes so far.
Let's just quickly talk about the e-commerce platforms. So we just wanted to talk about like your website versus Etsy, basically, correct? Because there's not much else really to talk about.
Yeah, I was just, the 3 that I had looked into were Squarespace, Shopify, and Etsy. But then I also was going to offer an alternative that everyone has access to, which is Instagram stories.
Okay.
My take on those things. Because you still have Etsy, right?
Yeah, I do. Dude, I have such a difficult relationship with Etsy, and just like the fact that I have it. It makes you money. It makes me money. That's the most annoying thing, because it makes me money like mostly passively. Thanks to the PDF patterns.
I was going to say, do you offer physical items on there, or is it just patterns?
I do offer, not a ton, not like the whole range that I do, but I do. It's not a big deal, but mostly it's just PDF patterns that sell, which is lovely, and it's awesome, but it limits my opportunities for the future. For example, there is a really cool new kid on the block since like 2020, something like that, maybe a little bit earlier, which is called Fair. Yeah, so Fair is an awesome place where like independent little shops and new businesses can go and browse items made by independent artists and new little businesses. And basically it's like cutting away from like massive mass production companies. So if you wanted something unique in your shop, if you have like a little corner shop somewhere, you go there and you buy it like wholesale directly from the artists. And crafters, makers, small businesses, all these people. And it's awesome because they approve like every application for a person to sell personally. You have to give them time, and they'll like look through you. And if they see something dodgy, like, maybe you're sourcing stuff from China or from somewhere where like, it's not sustainable or something they have criteria basically. Yeah. They will happily deny you. But also, they will happily deny you if you have an Etsy shop. It doesn't matter if you sell physical items on there or digital. they will not even consider you if you have an Etsy shop, which I think sucks. But that's like, it's like making a bold statement, you know, like
Honestly,
if you have an Etsy
yeah.
shop, because Etsy, like we should talk about it, but you know, is not a good place. Like Etsy can be good, and it used to be really good, but it's not good anymore. And but hopefully it will change in the future, hopefully. But basically the rules slash the policy per business policy or whatever that Etsy has started with is it's handmade only. No mass production, basically. Has to be authentic, all the stuff. And that's no longer the case. Like, they used to really monitor it, but because it's grown so much in the last, like,
It's huge.
half a decade, they can't really monitor it, or they're not trying because, you know, it's making the money and whatnot. So, Fair has this policy that if you have an Etsy shop, this, like, you're supporting Etsy, which Etsy is not a good thing to support these days because they don't give a fuck about the sustainability of, you know, any businesses. They don't give a fuck about like all these things, like, you know, labor violations and yeah, just selling crap basically. Annoys me because like I will happily take off all of my physical products off of Etsy. If I could have a Fair shop, I would fucking love that, but sadly I can't.
I kind of love that Fair does that simply because it is a bold statement saying we no longer want to support a marketplace that is basically false advertising what it is. And, you know, it is not truly, it is not handmade anymore. When Etsy was first a thing, there were many of us, like I had an Etsy account in 2008, 2007, 2008. I had it for a very brief amount of time for my art quilts, and then I shut it down because I could no longer make art quilts because college got a little too crazy for me. But I know several people that were on it at the very beginning, and it was so fun. It was a really small niche marketplace that was really designed for small
crafters
creatives
and makers and artists.
Yes, and it was such a cool space that was functional, but also just really, really easy to find, high quality, one of a kind things. And then flash forward, slowly over time, they just started becoming a dropship location. It was no longer had to verify that they were handmade items. And now the amount of products that are on there that are not handmade flood the market so much so that finding the unique pieces that you want to find are really hard as a buyer. And as a seller, you have to pay or meet certain criteria in order for your stuff to pop up first in their e-commerce like search bar. Which like at once upon a time, that was really cool that it was like did all the advertising for you and that it provided, you know, like you uploaded your stuff and then they did their magic. And like, I mean, I made plenty of money on Etsy. It was great for that. But then they started upping their percentages because now they take like 6.5% of your sales, which is just like outrageous to me.
No, they take more. They take more than that.
Well, it's
they
that plus
like,
transaction fees.
Everything.
And you have to pay listing fees. And so that once the fees all stack up, you're really not getting as much. And then they have the like stupid pricing tool where they're like trying to tell you how you should be pricing your items, which is just absolute shit. That they'd be like, your item should, based on other pictures like yours, your item should be priced at $3. And it's like, I don't know what you're pricing. But for anybody who maybe has imposter syndrome or is like trying to get started on there, they might believe that. And then it lowers the value of everything in that kind of mode of whatever they're making. Yeah. And it makes it devalues everything. But my biggest issue is that their customer service is shit. AKA it does not exist. Back in 2021, 2022, they've had many issues, many data breaches, many problems, but something happened where if you bought shipping labels through Etsy, there was a glitch and it charged 100% more of whatever your shipping labels were that day. So little old me, I had made $50 worth of purchases of shipping labels that day. I got a call from my credit card company. Thank goodness that I did not have mine attached to my actual bank, like a debit card. Okay. And I got a call from my credit card company that said, Etsy was like, hi, or the credit card company was like, did you buy $5,000 worth of shipping labels today through Etsy? And I was like, absolutely not. I did not. They thankfully canceled that transaction. And I go online to look it up, and it affected like hundreds of thousands of users. Etsy has one phone number listed for support that you can find if you really scour the internet. Like, it is not readily available to you. You can send an email, no one responds. And so many people like were like overdrafting on their accounts because it pulled from their direct bank. Like, they didn't have it linked to a credit card. And so people were overdrafting, and Etsy's response to that, they fixed it 2 days later, and their response was, here's $20 of free listing fees. Here, you can list things. Here's $20 for you to list products on our website. And that was it. There was no like deep apology. There was no like, and so thousands of people were out of all sorts of money. And I'm so lucky that I had the coverage, that I had a credit card attached that did their work there. It was amazing. They really took care of me. And I left because of that incident, because I just could not believe the lack of accountability. And they have had so many issues like that since. I refuse. I don't ever recommend it for anybody now. And that used to be the thing, like, oh my gosh, you make art, make an Etsy. Nope. Yeah, I will not.
I mean, to be honest, like, I will recommend it for beginners because it's a huge search engine, huge, massive.
Yeah.
So if you're just starting out, like, you know, you're building your audience, you're building your confidence, I think you should do it. Like, you know, no platform is perfect. This shit is completely ridiculous, but I also like, I'm against you buying labels through Etsy. It's not competitive prices, all the stuff. I mean, I don't know how really it works in the US. People do it because it's easier. You know, they don't want to go and like register on some other platform and all blah, blah, blah. So it makes sense. But I've never done it, so...
My recommendation now, if someone is trying to sell their artwork, is to actually start on Instagram in stories.
Yeah, but if people don't have any following, then Etsy is their only option, to be fair.
But well,
there's other little kids popping up on the block, but Etsy's the main one.
If you don't have a lot of followers or like a social media following, and you don't drive your own traffic, and you're like a pretty small seller, I don't think you have a chance on Etsy. It's so flooded now. To get your stuff to get in front of eyes, I'm curious. I don't think it's as good as it used to be.
I think you do. So I think flooded. It's just like with every platform out there, there are things that you can do to help yourself. Yeah. I don't think it depends on what you're selling. I think it depends how you market it. You know, there's, you know, you're allowed like up to 10 tags, and like, you know, everything is, because Etsy is a search engine, just like YouTube, just like Google. If you want to put something out there, you need to make it searchable. If you don't, you're not going to get no views, you're not going to get no sales. So if you put effort into how you're like using your description and what tags you're using, all these things, everything matters on Etsy. And I dove deep into that, and like, you know, at the beginning, like now I don't give a fuck that much for Etsy, but back in the day, like I didn't have my own website that I started on Etsy. Right.
But back in the day, I think the amount that platform has changed from 2020, 2021 to now is so immense. I really don't think it's the same experience. If for someone who's just starting out.
It's probably not the same, but I don't think it's far off, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe. I'm saying for someone who doesn't have social media followers, who doesn't have anything established that like, and they start a shop and they have 0 sales, I think it's really hard to get going now because it's such a flooded marketplace.
But this is your only option, really. So you're either going to put like a little bit of work into it and try and have a go at it, or you're not gonna, you know, like there's no other way unless you're going to spend all your time making reels and trying to build that following.
And that is my recommendation.
I mean, same.
My recommendation is to push hard on getting your face out there. If you like face, and I mean brand, whatever your branding is.
face.
Yeah. If you want to put your face out there, but like your products.
You should put your face on there.
You have to figure out how to market yourself in a way that builds you a following of some kind. I think it's easier to do on social media than it is to do on Etsy. When I looked back at my like SEO or my like search engine drives when I was in Etsy, it was like 98% of my sales came from social media. So I was like, what the fuck am I doing on this platform that's supposedly great for a search engine when like no one uses the search engine for my shit? I'm driving all of the traffic.
Maybe because you didn't use the bloody tags.
No, I did. I did all the tags. I did all the things.
Maybe not the right ones. I'm only mucking you.
But I recommend to people to really go hard on social media, try and make connections. And I'm not saying feel salesy. Like, don't go into it like I'm going to find people to follow me because I want to make money. Find an actual community. Like, try and make yourself
Hannah,
an active part of the community. Yes.
I'm going to let you finish your thought. And then I'm going to say a next episode. We should talk about like building following, because that's going to be the biggest question.
Yeah, I'm not going to go super into it. Yeah. We should do that for the next episode.
Is that my cat? It is Riot. Of course it is Riot. Okay, keep going. Oh my God,
I love that cat. But figure out a way to kind of like get a little bit going. Even if you have a small following, if you want to sell your stuff, post whatever your product is into your stories. And you can even put something like DM if you're interested, or you can put a price, you can put a description, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can use hashtags in your story and then save that to a highlights folder of like products for sale. And if anybody is ever interested in your products, you can say you can go to my story highlights. That's where I have anything listed. And you can start selling that way. And of course, it's a little bit scary for buyers, I guess, because you don't necessarily have like an approved platform. But then you can go through PayPal or something that has purchase protections for the seller and for the customer, and you can invoice people or sell products that way. And that's what I recommend now for people starting out. Get your foot dip your toes a little bit that way before going to a giant marketplace that's flooded.
I agree.
Because most people, if you're going to go onto Etsy, you're going to still have social media to try and get people to know who you are to get them to your Etsy site.
Yeah, but I think that's like, more legit. It's like why we went to Patreon instead of doing something else,
Yeah.
Because you could have done a subscription on your website quite easily.
Oh, totally.
But that's like, how trustworthy is that for a new person?
Right.
Patreon is trustworthy, so Etsy shop is a trustworthy place for them to go and buy your stuff.
That's true. I just don't go on Etsy anymore.
I know.
I used to buy everything from Etsy. I don't now. I barely go on. And then if you are established and you're doing well for yourself in terms of sales and you are sick of Etsy, I recommend checking out Shopify or Squarespace.
Don't go on Squarespace though. Highly unrecommended.
Squarespace is beautiful. That's what it has going for it.
You can make Shopify look beautiful.
Right, but I mean, that's the selling point. Like, that's how it gets people, is like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah, but okay, honestly, we will have to remove Squarespace from recommendations just because.
Oh, I don't recommend it. I was just offering I
know
the most common ones.
I'm just saying because my website is on Squarespace, which I'm currently in the process of switching to Shopify. Because it has so many limitations. Like, you don't think about the shit until you need it, and then you're like, oh, you want to talk?
Oh my God, she's so really cute.
You don't think about it, but then when it hits you, and you have to relearn a whole new platform, which sucks.
Yeah. And versus Shopify has a lot of in-app add-ons. So if you are needing something, it's super customizable. It's available in so many languages versus Squarespace, I think, is only available in 6 languages. And Shopify has a lot more options for checking out for people and payment plans. And
basically, if you're driving your traffic, you might as well have your own website, because even if you want to go further down, your website is your proof of concept, let's call it. It's your what's the word? Guarantor, let's call it.
Yeah.
If people are if companies or people are checking you out, they're gonna go on your website. If you have a website, you already look 3,000 times more legit.
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, so
Yeah.
definitely
There's
good.
also Coffee or Ko-fi, Kofi, which is like buy me a coffee kind of place. I think it's coffee.
Yeah.
They also now have a marketplace. I don't know how. Yeah, it's newer. So you can sell on there too if you're like wanting to have like a legit, like go through a different website instead of Instagram. That's also one. I have friends that have had decent success on there, and it's like creator centric, and like
Yeah,
very.
they've been actually hiring, like investing in a lot of creative talent for the company.
Yeah, like it seems like a really cool thing that I
For
would
sure.
recommend checking out. And then Big Cartel is another one. It has a limit on how many listings you can have, but it costs like 10 cents a listing or something. It's it doesn't have as big of a like search engine as Etsy, and it's like pretty no nonsense. But I've also heard good things about that too. I don't know much about either of those, but I just thought I'd mention them too if people are
there's a
looking
few
into it.
good places.
I know you need to get going. Yeah, let's do of our fun segments.
Can we actually not do the segments? What do you think? The segments will take forever, right? Yeah, well, sorry about that. Thank you so much for sticking around for a while. It's probably a very, very, very long episode, potentially the longest if I don't cut out a ton
Hopefully
of it.
you should cut out stuff.
I will cut out some stuff, but not all of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for getting in stitch with us today. It's been a lot, and we'll catch you on with a part 2 next time when we're gonna talk about like lots of e-commerce and what was the other thing that we're like, we gotta leave that for another episode. So like
building follower counts.
Yeah, building follower.
Yeah,
Big
we
one.
can do
Big one.
both of those in the next.
You're not gonna want to miss that one, right? Sorry.
And then just make sure that you subscribe anywhere that you are listening. Give us a follow on social media platforms, and please leave us a review if you have not done so yet, because reviews help us get seen more on all of the streaming platforms.
Yeah, there's not that many art accounts. There's many. There's not that many art podcasts, or basically we're pretty unique. So we should get that out there. Just
help us.
Yeah, helps out. Leave a comment on Spotify or YouTube, and rate us on Apple Podcasts. That'd be really cool. Thank you. And we'll see you later.
Bye.
Oh, controversial. Okay, I got a really, really good one. I think I'm going to get thrown into, I'm going to get canceled for it.
No, you're not. I won't get canceled for mine because I think mine's popular opinion, but it's upsetting to older folk.
Well, okay, this will be surprises. I might change my mind because I have 2 written down. So one is really bad. The other one is pretty bad.